Bolt fam, what is going on? Listen up, guys. The coaching staff is shaking everything up. I'm telling you, there's some heavy movement happening behind the scenes. The first bomb drops right on the offense and the protection, which has been a monumental headache, leaving real doubt about who can actually secure that critical blind side. And it doesn't stop there, because the backfield has turned into an insane puzzle. We've got a possible big-time addition popping up on the radar, and even some internal pressure that's been mounting in a way nobody expected. But before we dive into all this chaos, smash that subscribe button. It's free, and it seriously fuels this whole conversation we have going. Hit the like button to spread this talk to all the other Chargers fans out there. If you want to give that extra boost, click on the hyper link. It helps a ton. Stick with me, because I'm going to keep you totally locked in on everything happening with our squad. All right, let's get into the deep end. The offensive line situation has become a total, massive knot, and there's no way to run from it. The problem starts at the blind side, the one spot that's supposed to keep Herbert safe. But ever since Joe Alt went down for the season, everything has been up in the air. The team tried to weather the storm with Austin DeCoulis and Trevor Penning, but come on, man, it just hasn't clicked. Every single game felt like a new jump scare. Pressure getting through easy, flags flying at the absolute worst time, and that sinking feeling that any snap could turn into a disaster play. Harbaugh himself said he's looking at everything calmly during this break, and that's where a familiar name comes in, Jamaree Salyer. He's held that spot before, and honestly, he showed real anchor-like toughness when he was thrown into the fire. This isn't some crazy experiment. It's not a Hail Mary. It's a guy who actually delivered when no one thought he could. The impact of this goes way beyond just swapping one guy for another. This line has been a crushing weight, and it affects everything. The offense loses rhythm, loses confidence, loses that feeling that we can actually sustain a long drive. When you see Herbert being the most pressured quarterback in the entire damn league, it's insane. And it's crystal clear we can't keep doing this. Salyer can bring back a minimum level of stability there, stop that pocket from collapsing so fast, and finally let the offense breathe. DeCoulis and Penning have tried, but the difference is obvious when Salyer steps in. Fewer missed assignments, less communication breakdowns, and firmer grounding. That changes play calls, changes confidence, and even opens up space for the running game to flow without fearing the backside is going to get swallowed whole. From my fan perspective, the choice is practically obvious. The team needs to stop trying to be cute and just go with the guy who's shown consistency. Salyer has that calm, firm demeanor. He doesn't panic when someone bigger and faster is heading right for him. And look, the way this season is going, any move to reduce the chaos is worth its weight in gold. I get low-key furious when I remember how much heat Herbert has been taking. No offense can function like that. You can't ask for miracles if the guy doesn't even have 2 seconds to think. So, if the staff actually plugs Salyer in there, that's progress. And here's the detail nobody's talking about. This is happening right now, during the bye week. It's that quiet movement only the guys paying close attention notice. Some fans don't even know this change is on the table, and they might be shocked when we come back to a new look. So comment below what you think of this solution, because I'm seriously curious to hear your take. But then comes the part that nobody saw coming. The backfield situation has blown up, and it opens a whole new can of worms. The backfield has turned into one of those mysteries nobody can properly explain, because everything that was planned is now just dust after a few short weeks. The initial script was simple. Let Najee carry the bulk of the runs while Omarion Hampton slowly got involved, gained rhythm, understood the system, and meshed with Roman's calls. But then came an injury here, a problem there, and the staff had to completely reinvent the wheel. Najee is done for the season. Omarion has been sidelined since week 5 with that ankle. And who ended up saving the day? Kimani Vidal. The dude stepped into a role that wasn't even his, ran hard, went over 95 yards 3 times, and kept the offense minimally alive while everyone else was trying to figure out what was going on. The impact of this mess is huge because Omarion's return changes the entire offensive picture. He has a different type of burst, different vision, a different tempo in his cuts. But he's coming back from injury, and that always demands caution. The real question is how Vidal fits into this now, especially after the injury he took against Jacksonville. He left mid-game with a thigh issue, didn't return, and the rest was split between Amar Johnson and Travion Williams. That totally fractured the backfield's rhythm. But there's more. Even with all that chaos, the offense somehow managed to scratch out a 7-4 record before the bye. That only reinforces how hard Vidal held the line when no one expected him to. If both of them are healthy against the Raiders, the game totally shifts. The staff can finally run the original plan and, at the same time, reward the guy who's been carrying the piano. To be honest, I'm conflicted. Omarion coming back is exciting because it gives the offense a different gear. But Vidal, man, he's earned real respect. Every time he touched the ball, you could feel the confidence, that attitude of someone taking full advantage of their shot. And that matters. You can't just stick the guy on the bench and pretend nothing happened. And there's still that real worry. Will he be 100%? And can Omarion handle a full workload right off the bat? These little details could define the flow of entire drives. Roman is going to have to be smart with his calls, manage the load, protect both guys, and use whoever's got the hot hand. And few people are clued in on what this means right now, during the time off. There are serious decisions being made away from the cameras, and when the team gets back to practice, we should see clear clues on who's getting the most volume. Comment who you think needs to start carrying this rotation. And just wait for the next point, because there's a name popping up on the radar that could seriously shake everything up. And now we're hitting the point that's caught my attention, and I think a lot of people's too. Zack Moss's name has shown up on the radar, and the talk is gaining steam because the offense desperately needs exactly his profile. Any fan paying close attention knows the backfield has lost balance, lost its identity, and there are times when we just need that one guy who comes in, puts his foot in the ground, and dictates the physical rhythm this scheme demands. Moss brings exactly that heavy-duty, disciplined running style, that patience to read the blocking and attack the right angle. This isn't some crazy rumor. It's not made up. It's reading a real need. When a name like that surfaces, it's because someone inside saw a possible fit. And look, in a year with this many injuries, any solid piece helps. The impact of a move like this would be huge because it directly affects how the offense operates. Roman likes those long, controlled drives, that kind of measured pace. And for that, you need someone who can pound the middle of the defense without relying entirely on the O-line winning every battle. Moss does that kind of work, no fuss. He helps keep drives alive, he holds up against the blitz with strength, and he gives Herbert those extra seconds that can turn into a huge play. Not to mention, he fits well when the team uses heavier formations. Even if the team isn't running as much as they'd like because of the absences, having a runner who understands that type of read opens up more options. And the impact isn't just technical. It helps the offense breathe, helps the defense spend less time on the field, and totally resets the flow of the game. I'm honestly liking this possibility. A fan looks at this and thinks, wait, he's not on the team. Yeah, but that doesn't matter when the fit makes sense. And this one does. Moss wouldn't need to come in and be a savior or take anyone's job. He'd be a contributing piece, someone who brings that punch on short yardage plays, who keeps the offense on script when everything else seems to be breaking down. And in a roster that's this banged up, having someone with that kind of combative mentality helps. The guy is tough, he doesn't hide, and he has a seriousness that matches Herbert's way of commanding things. It's actually a relief to imagine someone taking crucial carries without flinching from contact. And few people are paying close attention to this. This movement could be happening in the background while everyone else is debating other things. It's not an overstatement to say that if this negotiation moves forward, it changes the tone of the final stretch. Comment below if you think Moss would be a good fit for the offense, because this could become a hot topic in the next few days. But then, just when the fans breathe out, thinking they understand the picture, another pressure starts building on the staff, and the climate gets even heavier. So, things have gotten heavy here in a way nobody expected. The coaching staff has entered a phase where every single detail becomes a debate. And that's because the team went from a smooth 3-0 to a losing streak that left everyone scratching their heads about how things fell apart so fast. That game against Jacksonville, 35-6, was a slap in the face. Nothing worked. It looked like the offense and defense were playing different sports. And when that happens, you always get that talk about internal pressure, about chairs starting to wobble, about accountability going too far. The fans can feel it from a mile away when something isn't clicking. And this time, that feeling hit hard. The impact of this situation is massive because external patience runs out fast. Harbaugh shouldn't be feeling the real heat because he's still rebuilding pieces, dealing with serious injuries in key areas, and trying to reorganize the locker room. Nobody expects magic. But Roman, now that's where the conversation changes. There are games where he adjusts everything perfectly, calls the run game at the perfect time, protects Herbert within the limitations, and lets the offense breathe. But then there are games where the plan seems to completely ignore who's even available. That Jacksonville game was exactly that. Calling plays as if Alt and Slater were on the field, routes that were too long, delayed throws, and zero protection. There's no way that works. The criticism isn't about his capability. It's about the inconsistency. When the offense needs simplicity, he overcomplicates things. When we need aggression, he holds back. That irregularity pisses off fans, irritates the roster, and makes the atmosphere even more unstable. To be honest, I see a dangerous mix brewing. The fan base is starting to lose patience with the roller coaster, and Roman has become the focus of that frustration. Not because he's the season's villain, but because he's the guy responsible for maximizing an offense that's constantly pressured and broken. And look, there are times when it seems like he forgets that. It's impossible to watch some drives and not think, why call that right now? And when you combine that with injuries, high expectations, and external pressure, the environment gets tense. If Herbert gets hurt, or if this final stretch turns into a series of stumbles, it's inevitable that Roman's name enters the hot seat discussion. The NFL doesn't wait. Fans don't wait. And when the criticism becomes a trend, that chair definitely starts shaking. And few people realize it, but this topic is boiling beneath the surface. It's not just the media. It's debate among fans. It's analysis on social media. It's the talk of the guys who follow practice. When the team comes back from the bye, the offensive play calls will be watched play by play. If the offense takes off, things calm down. If the mistakes repeat, the pressure explodes. So comment below what you would do in the coaching staff's shoes, because this decision could change a lot moving forward. And after all this, you can see how loaded the final stretch of the season has become. Look, after all that, you can feel how every piece of this news shoves the team into a picture full of tension, but also full of a real chance for a turnaround. The line shifting, the backfield taking shape, a possible reinforcement showing up, and the pressure on the coaching staff. It all comes together at a moment where every single detail matters. If they adjust now, the team breathes. If they repeat mistakes, things get truly complicated. Comment below. This space belongs to everyone who lives and dies with the Chargers. See you in the next video.